I'm Rick Murphy, CEO and founder of Cogent Growth Partners. If you're a technology services provider or an MSP thinking about growth, acquisitions, and how to achieve a realistic liquidity strategy or an eventual exit, this show is for you. This is Cogent Conversations.
What's it like being this light?
It's nice. I actually, I ran into somebody that I haven't seen in, I think it's been 2 years since I saw him. And I walked right up to him and shook his hand and said, "Hey, Peter." And I put my hand out and shook his hand. And he just looked at me. I said, "It's Rick Murphy, Peter." He goes, "Oh." It was hilarious. It was worth being here just for that. It was really worth being here just for that.
What'd you do with your old clothes?
I sold one jacket on Poshmark, and now I'm sort of addicted to see if I can do more. Actually, this is a new 46 long.
Looks great.
My old jacket was a 54.
Wow.
Actually, probably going to do a little video with a couple of my old jackets just for giggles because they're so huge on me.
Right.
It's like they look like tents. It's just hilarious, actually.
I have a picture of all the old clothes. I put them in trash bags, and when I got rid of them all.
I gave some stuff away, but I mean, I've got some. I love my old wardrobe. I mean, I have a nice wardrobe, and for years, and none of it fits. Like nothing. I had to buy stuff just to come here. I have no clothing.
That's something.
I have no clothing.
Nice problem to have.
That's a great problem. It's a good problem.
Yeah.
But it's really funny. It's just things you don't think about, right?
Right.
And so I have no jackets. Nothing.
Amazing.
Went to the Joseph A. Bank sale and bought a few jackets, which is refreshing.
Yeah.
It's nice. And the funny thing is, the guy that was the manager of the store that I went to years and years ago, I haven't bought any clothing in forever, and he was still working there. He's the manager, and he remembered me, and he goes, "Oh my God, you used to be like a 52 or a 54. What did you do?" And oh my God. And then, so I went in to try on I didn't know what size jacket I wore.
Yeah.
And so I walked out buying a bunch of stuff. But yeah, so he even ran so it's really fun.
Those guys are good. Right?
That was worth its weight. That made the whole thing worth it.
Yeah.
Just little silly things like that.
Good for you. And you just find yourself not getting exhausted more often and just
generally speaking, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I a different way to put it, right? I didn't realize how not feeling well I was feeling.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Your body just gets used to it.
You get used to it. And then so you look now, it's like, in hindsight, it's like, wow, I just do feel more spry. I do feel better a lot, actually. I was just telling my partner that the other day. It's like, I can tell the difference. You can really just feel it. But it's because I didn't realize how not in shape you were.
Right.
How you didn't feel good in the past. I didn't have anything to compare it to. Does that make sense?
How old are you now?
I am 67 now.
67, that's right. So how long were you at that weight?
God, couple decades.
Really?
Couple 2-3 decades.
You
probably.
Just got used to it.
At least 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, everybody knew me that way.
Yeah, that's right. I did.
Yeah, you did, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember you being heavy.
Right.
Though, right?
Yeah, this was back in 2000, 2001.
I don't remember you being heavy.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a big difference. The thing with Peter was just, I wish I had it on camera.
Nice. That's nice.
It would have been a perfect candid camera moment,
So we're here at IT Nation, Rick. IT Nation Connect, probably I think the biggest one they've ever had, I believe. Certainly by the numbers, a lot of people. What are some of your goals this week?
I'm in and out pretty quick this time, but it's really just we end up seeing a lot of clients in person because we're such a virtual business. Being able to see people in person, like you even, right?
Right.
We never see each other in person.
I know, unfortunately.
I haven't seen Peter in person in 2 years.
Wow.
I've seen clients today that we've got some new clients I met with already today and yesterday. Some current clients that we see when we see them on occasion. So we use the show as a way of connecting and just how's it going and catching up on just knowing each other as opposed to the business part. Because when you're on a Zoom call or you're doing a Teams meeting, it's mostly business, a little bit of kibitzing, but everybody's got things to do, so you don't get a lot of time to get to know people again and be human beings together. So that's kind of fun. Enjoy doing that actually. And then we do run into and talk to potential candidate companies that are interested in what we do. And we have people that seek us out also.
Yes.
My partner, George Sergio, is speaking tomorrow on the M&A panel in the morning. I forget the title of the panel. We sat in and looked at the other M&A panel that was this morning at 10 o'clock panel. which was really interesting. It's generally meet and greet, some schmoozing, just here for the schmooze. We meet a lot of interesting new clients a lot of times. Actually met a new client just earlier. And we meet potential candidate companies as well. M&A curious people. That's a thing that we're putting that on the website soon, sir. People who are M&A curious, trying to figure out what's next for them, and they're not for sale. I'm not ready yet. I want to be bigger. I want to get my multiple up. I want to make more money. So we spend a lot of time with doing transaction therapy or normal transaction therapy thing with potential companies that want to be a buyer. And they don't know how, which is actually what we do for a living, as you well know. But also, hey, I'm thinking about being a seller. I'm not sure what to do next. Or just what's my company worth is a big one.
Right.
And then how do I get there? And our big thing is we have so many different talk tracks and things we talk about. But the big thing is just learn how to run the company like you're going to sell it tomorrow, even if you're not going to sell it tomorrow. So make money now and make the company viable. And we spend a lot of time pontificating and bloviating and all the other stuff I'm good at.
Right. And when an MSP, we talked about this, I know before, but let's talk about it again. When an MSP just has an inkling of maybe I'm going to sell down the line, or I want to sell.
So don't put it that way. So that's BS,
Interesting.
right? Well, so it's BS, right? You're going to sell the company.
Right.
Or your family's going to sell it when you die.
Interesting.
So it is going to trade.
Wow.
Your company is going to trade. Either you're going to do it while you're alive, or your family's going to do it after you die.
Interesting.
Right? They're not going to keep it if something happens to you.
Right.
Right? The proverbial you got hit by a bus tomorrow, what happens to your company? Which is, business 101, what's the difference between a consultancy and a business? Well, if you get hit by a bus, the consultancy is not going to do very well without you. The business is probably going to do just fine without you. And that's the measure of how much of a business are you. That's a core key indicator. Are you really a business or not? But you are going to trade. It is going to trade, whether you do it or not, right? And then the idea that you've got, most business owners of small business, let's say a business between 3 million and 5 million in revenue, certainly a business below 3 million in revenue, same thing. A significant amount of your net worth is tied up in your business.
Wow.
Now you're probably making money from it. You might be running some of your lifestyle with the business and having a lovely lifestyle and doing just fine, making plenty of money. But at the same time, what's next? So it kind of depends on your drive and what you want to do next, and what makes you tick. So we can help with that. We can help with the transaction therapy part of the day and work you through that. But what makes me bristle is I hear about exit strategy all the time.
Right.
What's your exit? Are you exit planning? Well, it's BS.
Interesting.
What's your liquidity strategy should be the question. When am I going to go liquid on this investment that I have, which is my business? And whether you're partners or not doesn't really matter. You can have multiple partners and, what happens next and lots of other things go on. But, at the end of the day, exit planning is like, I'm going to leave the business and go do something else.
Right.
Sometimes that happens. And some people that's true. I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm done. I want to go do something else.
Right.
And that does happen. But more often, what we find, and I'll tell you a 5-second aside, is I've got an investor I've talked to over the years, and I always never forget he said this out loud, was, well, Rick, I retired. He sold his IT business. It was like he'd done it a couple of times. But he says, I sold my business and retired to pursue other interests, but I discovered I don't have any. That's what happens most of the time. That's more common. Like you already know this business, and you see people that are sticking out their non-compete and respecting their non-compete, non-solicit provisions of the exit agreement, of the purchase agreement, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years later, depending on what that agreement was, they're back at it. It's not evil. It's not bad. It's what you know.
Right.
So, sure, it's human nature. It's life. It's America. So, non-solicits, I think, are really important.
Non-solicit.
Non-solicit versus, let's say, a non-compete. I don't really care where you go to work. Nobody really cares. Just don't take the customers you sold me. Don't take the employees you sold me.
Right.
And don't tell the vendors that I'm going to work with that I'm a bad person. Be nice and play nice and respect that. As long as you do that, nobody cares.
Right. Essentials there, yeah.
Right? So, so a big part of the exit thing that makes me bristle is people usually aren't really exiting, and most buyers want you to stay.
Right.
It's old school, watching too many movies, about mergers and acquisitions there's a school from venture capital side of the business where it's like, boy, you buy a business, first thing you want to do is take out management and replace them with the current management or have them assimilate, which is interesting in certain circles, but in the IT space, the buyer's really important. The seller, the owner of the company is really important, and usually very important. And the team is usually very important. So, an acquisition is really a talent acquisition. It's not buy a book of business. There are a lot of people that think that's all about, I'm going to buy this book of business. Hey, this guy's got 5 or 6 employees and some customers. We'll buy his business, and then he can exit and move on. Well, that happens. There's a whole school of people that deal with that stuff and look at companies like that and try. That happens. But if you're doing an acquisition to just buy customers, well, who owns those customer relationships, right? And making sure that those are transferable and sustainable forward. Those are all things that matter to a buyer. And so you coming along for the ride and being part of the new team, if your ego can handle that, or your id, or pick whatever other psychological issues you might deal with, can you do that? So that's what's valuable to me. That makes your price go up.
All right. I was talking to an MSP yesterday, Rick, and they said they went down the road and they had everything set, and there was going to be a multiplier, and they didn't have any agreements with their clients, but the CEO said that was okay because they've been with them for 5 or 6 years and he was going to stay on.
Because we believe in giving customer service and we don't need a contract.
That's what he said. So then about 3 weeks before, PE fired that CEO. A new CEO came in, saw that there was no agreements, just redid the whole agreement, and then he just backed out because it wasn't as good as it was before. So and his point was, I can't go back. If I go back to those, one of the stipulations with the new CEO was go back to your top 20 and give them 3-year contracts.
Ooh.
And he said if I did that, they'd leave. They know what was happening. So I can't do that. So what does an MSP do after something like that?
That's a toughie. Okay, that's a toughie. So it comes back to what I was just saying. Actually,
about a 15-year-old MSP, about 7 or 8 on top, and on the bottom is about 2 or 3, if I remember correctly.
That's a very nice company.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So it's weird that they don't have customer agreements, actually. So there's a whole we could probably go on for hours on different parts that nitpick those different subjects. But the big thing is the whole run it like you're going to sell it every day. Just kind of coming back to that for a second. Golly gee whiz, a buyer is going to want to know that the business is sustainable after they buy it.
Yeah.
They're going to want to know that it's going to be doing what it was doing after I buy it, what it was doing before I buy it. So if the buyer believes in customer agreements, then the seller has to find a buyer. The buyer has to find sellers that also believe in customer agreements. I should be beating on that. The buyer should be working on. They're going to want customer agreements because that's the way that they roll. So it is extremely likely that you're going to want to find a like company that also believes strongly in customer agreements. I can't tell you how many times I was able to finish your sentence because how many times have I heard, well, we don't believe in contracts.
Right.
We believe in customer service. Our customers love us. So how many times out of that? I've done over 200 closed IT deals, and how many companies have we looked at? Hundreds? Maybe, I'm not think we're up to thousands yet, but lots and lots of companies. And we hear this all the time, constantly. And it's like, okay, I'm glad it works for you. That looks good on you, though, right? I mean, I'm glad that works for you.
Yeah.
And they trust you and all this stuff. But boy, if something happened to you or the people around you that work for you, and Chuck leaves the company, Chuck the L3 or Chuck the L2 or the L1 that leaves the company and takes that customer relationship with them, and let's say you don't have a non-solicit agreement with your employee, that could be a problem. And without a customer agreement, it also sort of proves you don't sell very confidently.
Right.
I work on referrals. We don't have salespeople. The same. Remember, we talked about all kinds of different things that that we've talked about in the past.
Yes.
But some of my isms. But the idea that we don't believe in customer agreements also goes hat in hand to we have the best customer relationships and we get all of our business from referral. Well, that means you don't sell.
Right.
And that means you don't believe in selling. And if you don't believe in selling because you think selling is bullshit, pardon my French, Well, a lot of people think selling is lying, selling is cheating, selling is bad. It's not. Selling is just convincing somebody to do something they didn't already intend to do. That's the sort of textbook definition. And that's not evil. It doesn't say you're going to be lying to people. What I love about my job, I don't lie to anybody. We don't have to. You don't have to BS anybody. We like to tell the truth. As a matter of fact, it's a way better way to do business is just telling the truth. And oh, by the way, Bob, here's how this is going to work. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take good care of you. And you got to be confident. And so, again, in building value in your business, saying that you get all your business from referral customers, so it goes hat in hand with the guy that doesn't believe in contracts. If you show me a guy that says, I don't believe in contracts, he's also the guy that gets all his business from referrals.
Right.
Same guy.
Interesting.
Same company, right? And while that's great, and your business is valuable, what am I going to do with that as a buyer? And are you as valuable to a buyer as a different company that believes differently?
Right.
And the answer is no, you're not. Truth, just straight up truth. You're still valuable, but you're not going to get the same purchase price. Forget multiples, forget everything else. You're not going to get the same purchase price because your business is more risky than the other business. Does that make sense?
It sure does.
So that's the big difference.
It is. It is. And it's a tough one. The mentality's got to change there because. So your message to MSPs this week is what, Rick?
Well, again, it's. I love that people are here learning.
Yeah.
We love that people support Evolve and service leadership and everything that IT Nation is about teaching and learning how to run a business well. There's plenty of things here about learning how to run your business effectively, how to be operationally effective, how to deal with growth, with financially running the business properly and so forth. And the best thing we can do is say, learn while you're here and take something home and do something about it. Join Evolve, be part of the SLI community. Do those kind of things that are going to help you run your business better. And listen and actually do something about it. There's a lot of other smart people in the space. We can help. If you want to, a lot of businesses we run into don't do their financials very well. And while that's not a major thing, it's a thing.
Yes.
And when we go to analyze a business, we have to put them sort of in a new way of looking at stuff because usually the way they're looking at it is not very sophisticated.
Wow.
And it doesn't have to be sophisticated, but it's important to be able to report your financials well. And we can teach you that. You can learn that without us. But our biggest message is to take these lessons from being at a show like this and do something about it.
Well, you've got a great reputation in the community, Rick. Everybody knows you, although they might not recognize you if they haven't seen you for a couple of years. But Cogent is up there. Everybody knows them and knows it's a great trusted resource. Anybody wants to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you?
You can hit my email, rick@cogentmergers.com. Our company's Cogent Growth Partners. You can find us on the web at cogentgrowthpartners.com or cogentmergers.com. It's a little easier. And give us a ring, and be happy to chat you up with whatever might be on your mind.
And of course, you're on LinkedIn as well if they want to get to you directly.
I am on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. I don't have my LinkedIn memorized.
Rick Murphy, we'll make sure to put it up.
Thank you.
We'll make sure to put it up.
Yeah, you can. Thanks, Joey.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate
You're the best.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it. This is Cogent Conversations.